I'm Brad Richardson, co-founder and operations director of MVP Disc Sports.
I am Chad Richardson, co-founder and chief engineer at MVP Disc Sports.
Welcome to the virtual segment of GYROpalooza 2024.
Welcome, everyone.
Another really exciting year for MVP Disc Sports. This year, Eagle McMahon joined Team MVP. What an exciting announcement to start the year off. Eagle got to join Simon here at MVP. Of course, let's not forget James Conrad and his exciting history with us and his incredible shot back in 2021. So the team just, we're so proud of the team. Very excited to have them with us, and really good people first, and these guys meet the definition of good people first when it comes to supporting MVP. So to start things off, kind of want to talk about the history of GYROpalooza, because there's actually a nice little history with it. Early on when GYROpalooza started, it was a very casual thing. It was really just done on a whim. Back in 2016, we had a small disc golf gathering at a local course, Mill Creek Disc Golf Course. It was just a private course in the area, and we just talked to the property owner, had a nice little gathering, and we had about 16 to 18 locals kind of play this event. On a whim, we invited them to the headquarters. Hey, do you guys want to check out the headquarters? The headquarters was only about a year or so old, so it was still pretty new at the time, and so it's exciting to invite this group over, and we had a blast. We did things, we had cornhole, putting baskets and all that stuff. It was just a really fun little gathering. We thought this was awesome. We definitely need to do this again. And the next year, or the year after that, we had maybe about 3 dozen or so attendees, so it got a little bigger, still very small scale, and we continued it became an annual tradition. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, every year just got bigger and bigger. It was getting to the point to where we were having hundreds, 400 or 500 attendees at the headquarters up, 2018, 2019, then 2020, we all know what happens with COVID, and it kind of made it impractical to do, an event where we had this many attendees in close quarters, and so obviously the COVID protocols required us to do not an in-person segment, but rather a virtual segment, and so that's kind of how GYROpalooza became a digital segment. The nice thing about the digital segment is that it allows us to reach everybody, not just those who are able to attend. So that's why we really like the virtual segment. It allows us to reach everybody. That ultimately everybody can attend that. But at the same time, we also miss reminiscing about the really fun in-person segment. So we really wanted to bring the in-person segment back. Or how can we do that? Because at the time, disc golf was exploding with COVID. It was an outdoor activity, social distance activity. So we had a lot of newcomers in the sport, and we were just exploding in growth. It was just not practical to. And Chad can maybe elaborate a little bit about how we were just ramping up our production capacity to really try to meet this demand. It was really not practical to host the event, but we had
post-COVID, we were in the middle of trying to meet this insane demand between COVID and James Conrad, Holy Shot, and all the explosive growth we were going through. So it was spent focusing on building the infrastructure here between the new warehouse, automating our entire factory, building the staff behind all the operations here. So we just had to solely dedicate all of our energy into building the organization to meet all the crazy demand we were. So here we are, we're in the new warehouse, we're moving in, racking's almost done, we're optimizing everything. So over those years of building the infrastructure and now it's here, we've been taking notes on, we know we want to eventually bring GYROpalooza back in person, and now here we are, we're excited to iron out the details.
Yeah, we're kind of finally in a position to where we can finally make it happen. Really this 5 years is really how long it took to really build our state-of-the-art production facility. Obviously this new warehouse that we're in, we built this the last couple of years, and the beginning of this year was when we really moved in and started operating out of it. The last GYROpalooza we were in here, but we had not fully moved in yet. We actually moved in December of last year. So we have been just about 1 year into this facility. And really throughout this year was about kind of optimizing and refining the flow. Chad, the engineer, really designed the logistics. I mean, you can talk about how you modeled the facility in CAD.
Yeah, it's not only just the construction of it, but pre-construction, you know, I designed this entire facility in CAD to lay out where are the machines going, where are the racking going, where are the offices. Like, everything in here is digitally designed to optimize footprint and, you know, workflow, material handling. So at the end of the day, pre-planning, then going through the permitting process to get approvals and every phase of development, and then finally, you know, physically building it and moving in. And it's a multi-year process, and we are incredibly proud to finally make it. It's a long, painful process, but it is very rewarding because now we have the state-of-the-art facility to be the best at what we are.
So with that history of GYROpalooza in mind, GYROpalooza started out with an in-person segment. Ultimately, it was an in-person experience. We had hundreds of attendees here at HQ. Obviously, with COVID, it made it not possible and practical to do a in-person segment. And over the years, as disc golf has grown significantly, as MVP has grown significantly, it was just not possible or practical to open up for everyone, because there would have been many thousands of people that wanted to come, and we just don't have the infrastructure to do that. So ultimately, we want to reintroduce that experience. We wanted to figure out how can we, and ultimately there will be a limited number of GYROpalooza packs that will be part of a sweepstakes, where a certain number of packs have a special ticket inside of them to represent your entry into the in-person segment of GYROpalooza. It is a sweepstakes. In order for it to be lawful, we also have to offer an option that's no purchase necessary, and that is the online form, so everyone can sign up without having to purchase the GYROpalooza pack. Anyone, it's a random entry into an online form with no purchase necessary, and another pool is those who purchase the pack. Essentially, there's two pools of winners between the pack purchase or the no purchase necessary pool of winners. And ultimately, there will be a predetermined number of winners. Again, it'll be announced at the time of publishing of this video. At the recording, we're still working out the exact details. In order for us to be able to offer it in person, we have to limit how many people can attend, but we felt that at least we wanted to bring back the experience. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of team MVP players there. We're going to allow retailers to attend, and we really want to make this a really cool experience for retailers, team MVP, and a limited number of sweepstakes winners through the GYROpalooza packs or the online submission form.
Yeah, we're very excited to bring it back. You know, during these many years of, you know, updating our infrastructure here with the new warehouse, updating our production facility, during that construction phase, it just wasn't be able to, you know, introduce so many people during this construction. It's just not safe. Now that we have it, we're very excited. We've got all sorts of ideas of fun activities to do in here. It's going to be a blast to see all of you again inside the new warehouse. It's going to be a blast. We're very, very excited to bring it back.
Yeah, and kind of to add to that, this year we worked with a YouTuber, Smarter Every Day, to really give the first inside glimpse of MVP productions facility, because that's one thing we're really proud of. It's one thing that we spent so much time in the last 5 years really kind of getting this facility to where it is. And so that project was a really exciting project, working with Smarter Every Day. I mean, we've been big fans of Smarter Every Day for a number of years, and so we're humbled to have the opportunity to work with Smarter Every Day on this particular project.
Yeah, absolutely. Destin and his crew with Smarter Every Day, it's been an honor working with them. You know, we'll definitely give you a link in the description so you can check it out. It's very well worth it. It's the first time we've ever really opened up our doors onto the manufacturing process. We've been very, you know, tight about how we manufacture the disc. It's a very difficult process to streamline and optimize and make things quality. So it's a lot of hard work, but this is the first time where we really get to show off, you know, everything we've done and the people and staff behind it.
Just to add to that, you know, to build that facility and operate that facility requires a very talented team. Just wanted to give a shout out to the team at MVP. We have nearly 100 employees. We've got a really strong team, and so to operate and run that facility, and not only just the production, all of the hot stamp operations, the warehouse distribution operations, the customer service, the marketing, the administrative staff. We do a lot as a company. The automation team that Chad works with, like we've got a small robotic team to really build and automate this facility and continue our mission of being the leading edge in our manufacturing processes.
Yeah. There's many departments in our organization, and we are incredibly proud of the people that we have, operating everything that we do.
So again, big shout out to the team at MVP, nearly 100 strong. They're really the real MVP of MVP.
Beyond the existing video, our first video with Smutter Every Day, we're working and finalizing the Smutter Every Day 2 video. It's a lot of the existing footage from this first video we launched with Destin and Smutter Every Day. It gets into more details and some more topics that we didn't cover in the first video, so definitely check it out.
A lot more of the quality control processes. There's a lot of quality control steps there. We'll elaborate more there. We also talk about the grinder system, the new recycling process that we've got that helps us with our mission of sustainability of our plastics. So a lot of great stuff in that Smarter Everyday, Smarter Everyday 2 segment. It's like his alternative channel with just where he kind of expands on more detail on a lot of those things.
Yeah, maybe taking two steps beyond the Smarter Everyday second video. We're even working on more quality equipment that me and my team have designed and we're going to be implementing. So since that's been filmed, we're already working on additional equipment that maybe we'll have to have a follow-up video on segment.
Yeah, we definitely need to do more lab reports. We've been so busy, haven't been able to do as many lab reports as we'd like, but I think that as we build out more of those things that Chad's talking about, I think definitely worth more lab reports. We definitely need to do more of those.
Yeah,
for sure.
Very proud of it.
The partnership with Smarter Every Day is actually a series of videos. So this is just the first video of a series we're going to be doing, a small series, just a few videos here. So.
Yeah, we have a few topics already in mind in the works with the brainstorming sessions we've had, but if you have additional ideas that you want to consider us doing, watch the video on Smarter Every Day, put in your comments, because we're listening, we're taking notes, we're listening to feedback.
Yeah, we're definitely reading those. We're definitely reading those comments. We definitely want to know what you guys want to know. So check out that video, give some comments. What do you want to see? Because we really want to know what you guys want to know, because we want to make this exciting.
And another note on the Smarter Every Day series, the reason why we started talking with the Smarter Every Day channel is we knew it was an opportunity to reach new disc golf audience. We're very passionate about disc golf. We love the benefits of the sport, all the great things about it, but we wanted to reach more audience. And we know that Smarter Every Day, they have a large audience that are full of great people, and that we thought it'd be a great opportunity to get disc golf exposed to more people.
Obviously, here at the new headquarters, we've refined a lot of our fulfillment processes. We are shipping product at record numbers. We're producing product at record numbers. We have improved our capacity significantly. Yet, with the historic signing of Simon Lizotte and following that up with the signing of Eagle McMahon, we still have been hit with unprecedented demand. We're still producing at record numbers, but demand still exceeds supply in many instances. So it's created some challenges. We've had to temporarily adjust our fulfillment strategy for retailers as far as keeping retailers stocked with product. We've had to implement a make-to-order business model. Essentially, we want to ensure that all retailers get all the product that they ordered. And so one symptom of that is it is longer lead times for retailers to get product from us. However, it guarantees product availability for them. So we felt that was important to guarantee the product availability. We felt that that was more important than the longer lead times required for that make-to-order business model. Now, as we go through this winter season, we expect our inventory to improve significantly. In other words, the product availability will improve, and it should be able to eliminate the need for this make-to-order business model. So we expect the fulfillment lead time for retailers to improve significantly. We appreciate the great patience of retailers of the longer lead times, but we can promise you they are temporary. The product availability is improving, and we're not that far away to where product will be readily available, and we don't have to do this make-to-order business model that we've had for a little while.
I can talk about the balance now. That's actually just been PJ approved. So Simon Line. So this is the first mid-range in Simon Line. This is a prototype. We're taking our time to really make sure we nail down the stability that we're looking for. This first prototype, just a little bit on the slightly overstable end that we're shooting for, but we nailed the proportions, the hand feel, the nice small, medium size bead. Overall fit and finish, it's low profile. Like, in the hand, feels great. We're just dialing in that stability mark with Simon, making sure we're nailing it. And otherwise, you know, it's fantastic. This is a pretty exciting. One small feature, actually, this is kind of unique. This is the first time, and when you pick it up, you'll be able to see the profile. This is the first time that we're introducing a small bead on the wing portion of the inner core. So you have a small bead independent of where that overmold seam is. So that's kind of a cool little design feature I'm kind of excited about. It's the first time we tried that, and I think Simon's really excited for it. So yeah, really unique. This is going to be great. The target stability ballpark range is between the pyro and reactor. So exciting. This is going to be a great first mid for Simon's line.
The next disc here.
Yeah, this is exciting.
The Eclipse parachute, because why not?
Yeah, so you know, with the one speed, you know, the success of the glitch, we decided, you know, with all three brands, we should give you know, a slot that can kind of fit that hybrid catch disc. You know, we can putt with it, play catch with it, all the great things that the glitch has, but we wanted something for every brand, and this is Streamline's version. Now, also, while we did this one, we decided that since it doesn't have, you know, gyro technology, it's only a solo mold. Aerodynamically, we decided to increase the parting line height just a little bit higher, just to give it a little bit more aerodynamic stability. So it's a great flight, good fit and finish, and good opportunity to bring something new for Streamline. So very proud of this one, feels great.
And of course, to counter that one for Axiom, we've got a counterpart to the glitch called the pitch. That one's just kind of generally just a slightly more understable version of the glitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the citrus pitch. That's a perfect example.
So pitch in the Axiom lineup, we wanted to choose something slightly less stable than the glitch. The glitch is known for its medium-sized bead. Here we wanted to maintain the, you know, proportions of the glitch, but we just kind of rounded out this bottom wing, give it a nice smooth hand feel, almost virtually no bead, maybe a micro bead. So a nice neutral complement to the glitch in Axiom's line.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about what we're doing for retailers. This particular product that you're seeing here was part of our brick and mortar exclusive offerings. So we'll talk more about that later in this segment, because that's becoming a big focus for us this year. Yeah,
been a big time fan of the citrus, so we're very excited to bring it back. Great collector's item. This is gonna be a fun one. So a lot of OG fans that have been throwing gyro for a long time, I'm gonna be really excited about this one. So this is the resurgence of the Thrill. You know, this is a great mold that we ended up retiring for a period of time, and Eagle had his hands on some of the, you know, existing ones that were out in the wild, and he liked it so much. We had some conversations internally with our production department, and it's back. This is the first time we've brought back a retired mold, so it's pretty exciting. And I know Eagle's very excited about it, so this is going to be something that you can see flying. It's a great feeling.
This particular product is also part of our brick and mortar exclusive offering. Yeah. The Thrill will actually be part of the pack, and that will only be available at brick and mortar retail stores. Again, we'll talk more about our efforts to promote brick and mortar disc golf, but this particular product is a variant in the GYROpalooza pack. So if you want the Thrill, you got to buy the GYROpalooza pack from a brick and mortar retailer.
Yeah, very exciting.
Total Eclipse Vanish.
Yeah, Total Eclipse Vanish. You know, again, bringing the different color glows between the core and overmold. You know, a lot of different combinations, a lot of great visual effects between the two different colors of glow. And you know, GYROpalooza. You know, gotta have something to celebrate the, you know, the yearly event.
We got some Streamline discs. Just want to talk about some updates about Streamline. As we've been continuing to refine our infrastructure of our production and warehouse, we've been increasing our efficiency. It has allowed us to offer much more competitive pricing on Streamline discs. Overall, like great solo mold discs with triple stamping standard. You know, there's seamless fit and finish. You know, there's no flash. You can feel in the top and bottom. Overall, just very high quality premium solo mold discs at unbeatable prices in the industry.
Yeah, and kind of stem from, since we have a lot of new fans, you know, in these past couple of years, it kind of stem as to why Streamline exists and why are we doing solo molds when we're, you know, known for the overmold. While we've been building our capacity and capabilities to manufacture overmold discs, it's fairly difficult because it's a two-part process. You have to make the center portion, and then you have to overmold it, and doing those processes and merging them together, it's a fairly difficult process. But we realize, with our capability to make overmold discs, it's actually pretty straightforward making solo mold discs at high quality. So we decided, it's a great way to get started when you have a more economical line to choose from. So Streamline's a fantastic product with the same quality standards that we use in our overmold discs, but a great entry price point, and it's a great product. So if you want to get into disc golf, it's a great way to get started, and then you can work your way up to a gyro disc. So
yep.
Great product.
We've actually made a lot of improvements to our Cosmic plastic in recent runs. As you can see, these colors got nice contrast to them. We're excited to start rolling out some of these improvements and more of the Cosmic offerings. As we restock our Cosmic, we anticipate more of them being in the more highly contrasting runs of Cosmic, so we're excited to kind of make a little bit of a comeback on that. So our Cosmic stuff will start looking really good again.
We touch on the process a little bit on the Smarter Everyday and Smarter Everyday 2 video that's upcoming, so check out those videos. We kind of dive a little bit deeper on how this process is done. Not all the details, but some of the processes.
Another thing worth mentioning about Cosmic, historically, Cosmic Neutron has generally been flatter and more overstable. Generally, we've actually redesigned the process for making Cosmic to where the stability is no longer as slightly, it's actually more in line with regular Neutron. It might still be slightly more stable than what Neutron is, but we're getting those stabilities closer. As we try to strive for consistency, we recognize that Cosmic has just been considerably more overstable, and we just kind of wanted to get that consistency there as far as making it kind of more aligned with regular Neutron. So I would expect newer runs of Cosmic Neutron to be more consistent with its regular Neutron counterpart. There still may be some subtle differences, but they are getting closer together. They are getting slightly more consistent as we continue to make our processes more consistent.
And again, that kind of segues into the Smarter Everyday video, where we kind of dive a little deeper onto how we're able to maintain those consistent runs, and how we're able to quantify what the geometry is. We've invested a lot of equipment into our quality lab where we can measure these parts far greater than we've been able to previously, with some really nice laser microscopes to be able to measure down to the micron. So it's pretty intense what we're doing in the quality lab. So shout out to the quality team over there, and this is our ability to fine-tune our processes and make a consistent product. It's very exciting. And
then we also talk about the challenges too, as far as why these type of variances happen. The process of making disc is actually a very challenging process. And in fact, as we get the raw materials in from our suppliers, the properties of materials from one shipment to the next can actually vary quite significantly. From one production run to the next, you could have the exact same machine, exact same mold, and you will still get a slightly different result just because of the properties of the plastic from the supplier. And we'll talk about that in the Smarter Everyday video.
Yeah, and more specifically in that video, we kind of dive into one, it's your facility and your equipment and maintaining all of your parameters on your machines. That's very straightforward. Maintaining your environment, we have 80 plus tons of climate control into the facility, so that's all good. But when it comes to the plastic, like Brad's getting to, there's a variable called melt flow index. It's a melt flow test. Being able to measure that accurately is something that we've invested in, as well as our material suppliers do internally. So we're kind of doing a double check between a material supplier as well as in-house testing before it even meets the machine, which is a very important variable.
Yeah. So we're only getting better with quality and consistency. Obviously, we're not going to admit that we're perfect, but our quality and consistency only gets better with time. So that covers kind of the feature discs for the GYROpalooza pack. Yep. We also got some other things to talk about, including the traditional lab second discs. That's always a nice little feature here. Just to kind of talk about what lab second discs are. They're just minor quality defects. The disc is still a great performing golf disc, still conforms to PDJ standards. It's just a minor cosmetic defect. And so we always accumulate these throughout the year and throw them into the packs at a really steep discount. So it overall adds a lot of value into the pack. If you're kind of new to gyro, or you just have a love of gyro, this is a great way to get some nice featured items, as well as just a great variety of factory set kits at a really good deal. As well as this year, we're also featuring the R2 Neutron plastic. We've talked about this previously, but we're increasing our variety of R2 Neutron. It's our sustainability product. Essentially, any waste material from our process, we choose not to send it to the landfill. We take this leftover plastic, and it allows us to make R2 Neutron. It's a very affordable option, just again, adding more value to the pack overall, making it a really good deal. We've been actually running production through them for many months. We're building up a variety, so it could really be any disc within our lineup as far as what's available in the R2 Neutron. So every pack will get a couple of R2 Neutron, a really big variety of the lab set kits. In the case of the brick and mortar variant, there will be one less lab set kit, and it will be replaced with the Thrill. So overall, every pack has the same number of discs, except the brick and mortar ones will have that special Thrill that has the Eagle McMahon Thrill stamp on it. So we have a couple of other variants. This was the Halloween variants, these two here. One was the Eclipse Pixel, and the other one was the Eclipse Detour. So foil variants here, just a unique red foil here and a unique gold foil here for the Pixel. Ultimately, it's been part of our brick and mortar exclusive program. We felt protecting brick and mortar retailers was very important. In fact, that's become a really big focus for us in these recent years. We want to ensure that these brick and mortar retailers have a healthy business, because these brick and mortar retailers really foster the disc golf community. They are the ones that support events. They're there to help support the development of disc golf courses in your local area. They really are the foundation for disc golf at the local level. And it's really important that we keep them thriving so that they can allow disc golf to thrive. And so we really want to continue to support them. As the industry kind of trends towards direct-to-consumer sales on factory stores, that's something that we feel is very dangerous for these retailers. And so we really are going to be shifting focus in the opposite direction. We really want to prioritize retailers with their product. We really want to support the brick and mortar. So that's kind of the reasoning behind the Citrus Pitch, the foil variants, the Thrill Pack variant. It's really about supporting brick and mortar retailers. We feel really strongly about the success of the brick and mortar retailers to allow disc golf to be successful. So this year, as far as disc releases, a lot of our priority really went into hitting the high request products. We really wanted to deliver this year as far as products that everyone's been asking for.
There's a good example.
The Eclipse Crave, this is by far the most #1 requested Eclipse disc, was the Eclipse Crave. And the #1 requested Electron model, Electron Entropy. These were the most highly requested plastic variants of these respective plastic types. So we made it a priority to really offer what you've been asking for. Same thing with the new models. The Trail and the Trail and Detour. Really, those are kind of...
And to touch on the point of the Eclipse Crave and the Electron Entropy, thank you for your patience. This is a highly requested item for a little while now, and the reason why it takes a little bit longer than we'd like is some of these molds actually require building an additional mold suited for that plastic type. So Glow and Electron, they usually require a little bit different mold, mostly because the plastics have different shrink factors, and with our overmolding process, in order to get that seam just right, it's really important for us to kind of fine-tune each mold for each plastic. So sometimes a new plastic variant, it's actually a little tricky, but it's well worth the wait, and we're very excited for these ones.
Yeah, both Glow plastic and Electron plastic, both of them have some challenges as far as the tooling design. There's actually a lot of tooling implications required for these particular products. So
we're getting a lot better at it, so it'll be a little bit faster, but it's definitely a lot of work behind the scenes.
Especially for overmold disc, we wish it was as easy as just injecting any plastic into any mold. It's unfortunately not that simple. There's a lot of molds with certain plastics that just unfortunately are just not compatible. So in order to make certain models and molds compatible with certain plastics, there's a lot of development that requires behind the scenes to make that product possible.
We've come a long ways. When we first started, we had no idea it was going to be this complex, but in order to be at this quality level and all these plastic variants, it's pretty challenging, but we're getting better at it, and it's a very, very, very fun challenge.
So overall, this year has been hitting the high demand. The trail and detour, really two high things. Did you talk about the trail and detour?
I haven't yet, no.
Yeah,
but,
go ahead and talk about them then.
Yep, we're very excited. These are both James Conrad lineup models, and very exciting because, let's talk about the mid-range first. Our mid-range has gone through an evolution of, we've retired a lot of older mid-range designs, and we've been introducing several new modern versions over the years, and the detour is a result of just an additional one between the uplink and hex. As we filled out our modern mid-ranges, making them more forgiving, more gyroscopic, and just kind of optimizing the hand feel, all sorts of small details in the mid-range lineup. James Conrad was looking for a particular stability we didn't quite have between the hex and uplink, and we nailed it. And this is the first try, and boy, we couldn't be happier. I think James is very pleased, and it's already a staple in a lot of players' bags, and it's one of my favorite mids right now. So great mold, very happy with it, and we were able to, from concept, sitting down to James, talking about what he was looking for, to design and building the tools and getting in production. It was a very speedy process. We were actually very happy with how efficient everything lined up with this mold. So very proud of that. A lot of work behind the scenes with our team to get that just right before trialing it, sending it out to James, get his feedback. So a lot of people involved with the new disc, and it's a fun process. We're very proud of it. But another one in his lineup, this is the Trail, and this is immediately a very fast seller. Like this is a driver that I feel like most players, whether you're new or experienced, everyone can pick up a Trail and find good use of it. It's just a very straight 10-speed, and we're very proud of that because as you make a disc faster, it's difficult to maintain a straight flight. Now everyone has different power levels, so some results may vary based on if you have very high power, very low power, but the Trail is really a sweet spot in the 10-speed category, and we're very proud of it. It's an immediately straight flyer, 10-speed with a lot of glide. This is a culmination of many years of designing discs and building a facility that's capable of optimized designs. Part of it is we could design great discs, but being able to have a factory produce that consistently was also the other limiting factor. But now, over these past few years of growing our infrastructure, training our staff, implementing new quality standards, all of these variables we're nailing down, and this is just a great taste of what our capabilities are going to be as we continue building molds. So it's very exciting. The Trail, Detour, Pixel, Time Lapse, all these recent molds have been just a really good glimmer of hope that we are going to continue pushing the limits on disc design.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
I think it's been very clear that a lot of our recent releases have really been some of our best releases. Yeah. Chad's getting really, really good with his designs. The Trail and Detour, I think, are just the shining beacons of just like, as Chad gets better, the designs are just getting really well. We learn a lot from the other designs, in particular, kind of that consistent dome that you see on the Trail. Because dome it's an interesting thing, because dome is helpful in distance drivers to give you some good glide. However, the process required to make a dome is not a consistent process. In order to get a disc to dome, that plastic is shrinking in a certain way, whereas this rim is almost like a rubber band squeezing that flight plate, causing that dome to come up. And overall, to make a dome come up, it's an inconsistent process because you really cannot control that. It's taking place outside of the mold. When we started our in-house production, a lot of our molds have been very, very flat in design. The design's flat because it's more consistent, because we have more inside the mold cooling. However, the Trail is one of those ones where where Chad really kind of nailed the design to get that perfect dome that can be done consistently. That's key. Anyone can add dome into a disc, but getting it to dome consistency is actually very challenging. So the Trail is an example of some of Chad's new design philosophy allows us to have a higher level of consistency with that dome.
And again, this is definitely not credit just to my design. Building and designing the disc is just the first step. Anyone can make a great design on paper, but building the tool, getting it into the right machine, into the right material, and the right process, and the right quality control, all the people that are behind all of those efforts, I have to have tremendous respect for the team we're building here on the production side in particular. So major props to our team, and we're very excited because every mold we're building from here it's gonna be great. We're very, very excited.
Simon Line Pixel, huge release of the year. We started the year off strong with with this particular pixel. Obviously, we launched the Simon line at the end of last year. This is a continuation of that. So really, a putter is really a key disc in anyone's lineup, and so this has been Simon's putter. He loves it. It's just the perfect feel for him. Ultimately, I think just the fit and finish of how it fits in the hand, I think, was really important for Simon, and so this was kind of that little bit deeper profile that really hit what Simon was looking for. Any other kind of comments about that? Yeah,
particularly just the correct depth, that inner rim angle was key, and how it's interfacing, and that neutral stability. He wanted something that he can kind of give a little bit more spin, a little bit more loft onto without it, worrying about that fade variable, especially on his longer, jump and spin putts. So immediately fell in love, and I'm very, very glad. It's great to, build a mold, and a lot of risk involved, and sometimes things just align perfectly, and it's great. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. The rhythm, another really high request item here. The fission rhythm, again, adds a little bit more dome into the driver lineup. A lot of our older molds are generally flatter because it's more consistent, but again, like the rhythm was also kind of precede the trail as far as adding that dome. That's a consistent dome. Again, for the slower fairway, the rhythm is fills a good slot there, whereas the trail's kind of a little bit of that higher speed.
And to kind of mention on the dome, we kind of make sure we cover the bases on both categories. It was easier to start out with slightly flatter discs as we were, building our infrastructure and the capabilities, because flatter generally is easier to manufacture, but now that we've optimized our factory, improved our quality control, and all the process optimization, now we're able to introduce a fair bit more domey. So now we're going to have a good variety of, whatever suits your style or whatever shot you're trying to hit with your bag. We're gonna have both, super glidey, some nice dome, or some nice flat ones that are maybe more forehand friendly. The goal is to cover every basis, so not everything is gonna turn domey. It's just cover everything and being able to do it consistently. So very exciting. Right here. Yeah. No, this is exciting. Time lapse was a very important mold in the Simon line. It's the first 12 speed. And launching at Neutron was great, a fair bit overstable for most players, and we immediately knew fission was going to be the answer to that. And this is immediately a mega bomber for people who have, more average speed, compared to Simon and Eagle and their top contenders. They love the Neutron versions, but, we need something that, the average person can throw, and the fission is just.
You can call this the people's time lapse.
It really is.
It's anyone's arm can get this disc to fly, kind of how its intended stability is.
Yeah, and in ironic timing, we're very proud of the swirls and in our overmolds that we can do too. Around the time we brought Simon on board, we were kind of finishing up our swirl equipment. So just beautiful stuff. We're very proud of the the things that we can do, and one more notch.
Yeah. Got some nice space race discs here. I'll let you talk about the range because of the mold thing, but again, this was kind of a continuation of the Eclipse Crave being a really high demand item. We just kind of one-up that with the Total Eclipse, because why not? Who doesn't love kind of the two-color glow with the Total Eclipse plastic? So
that's right.
Space Race we felt was the perfect channel to kind of expand upon those other options. You got a really high glide model, you got a really low glide model. You can talk about the range. That's a really cool one.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of requests for a negative dome, with that nice negative flight plate for the anti-glide, as we kind of call it internally. Having an anti-glide approach disc is something that you can throw it hard and let it just drop to the ground. You want to be able to throw it at the basket and hit the brakes near it so you're not rolling or skidding away. So this is our way to try our first attempt at a negative flight plate, and Streamline was an easy way to do so, and we nailed it. We had a lot of feedback on some suggestions on, what stability we wanted to hit, with our players' feedback, and we wanted something a little bit neutral. That way you kind of eliminate the massive turn or massive fade. We just wanted something right in the middle, very neutral flight, so you can just focus on aiming at the basket, hit your line, and then just letting the disc drop right at the pin. So this is a very straight, low glide approach disc, and it's very versatile. A lot of great feedback.
Another thing about the range in particular is the comfort and feel.
Yeah.
Because when you have that negative flight plate, it can kind of feel uncomfortable, but the range really addresses the comfort level of that. That is a really comfortable negative flight plate. Like you normally would think that negative flight plate in many people's experience maybe doesn't feel very comfortable, but if you try out that range, I think you'd be shocked at how comfortable it is in the hand.
Yeah, we're not the first company to make a negative flight plate. So when we were, evaluating what we want our design to have, some of the things that we want to improve was that hand feel, and that was like a culmination of some of our 3D printing. Being able to 3D print and get a good hand feel kind of allowed us to optimize that hand feel just right before building the tool. So it was kind of a first time actually doing that. So actually, no, we've done that with the glitch before.
The glitch,
my bad. Yeah. But either way, it was a great time to utilize it, optimize the hand feel, get some feedback internally before committing to the mold, and the design process, prototyping, feedback, everything went well. And
yeah, a lot of prototyping went into this one for sure.
You want to talk about St. Jude?
Yeah, we got a couple of St. Jude discs here.
Yep.
Thank you so much for your support, everyone, for the support on this product. We committed to donating 60% of the sales, which is nearly all the profit of this product, went to St. Jude, and we were able to raise just under $50,000 of proceeds. We actually just rounded that number up to a flat $50,000. So thank you so much for your support for this particular product that allowed us to make this donation possible.
Yeah, we had several families reach out, giving some of their personal experiences, and it was really humbling, and it's such a great foundation, and it's very rewarding for us to be able to, donate to such a great organization. Okay. Want to get into some of our accessories?
Yeah, you see, we got a lot of accessories to talk about here. We got these beautiful new bag colorways here, and actually, there's actually some more colorways coming. In addition to these, in fact, here's a couple. We actually got the cell bag here. Not enough space on the table to show them all, but a lot of new colorways coming for the shuttle and cell. The shuttle will be coming out in the next release. In the cell, in the new colorways will be following the release after. But this will be Streamline's first offering for a shuttle and cell bag, and just more colorways for MVP and Axiom. So. Lots of new colorways, kind of bring some more fresh, modern colorways into the MVP and Axiom and Streamline lineup, and just more options. The shuttle is our most affordable backpack offering in our lineup, and just kind of bringing this beautiful modern look to our most affordable option, just to make this bag, more reachable for everyone. As we talked about the disc, we had a lot of kind of brick and mortar exclusive products like the Citrus pitch. We made these exclusively available for brick and mortar retailers. Supporting brick and mortar retailers, as we said, has been a huge priority for us. We want to make sure that they thrive because they really foster the disc golf community when it comes to running events, the development of courses in the area, supporting clubs. The presence of disc golf retailers is so important, and it really made it a really high priority to support them. So we've actually made a lot of upgrades to our packaging for a lot of our accessory products to make them more presentable in retail, disc golf retailers. As you know, we're the leader of our glow technology, so we offer these UV flashlights to help supercharge your glow disc. And so we offer a full range of sizes of the UV flashlights. And of course, you can buy these UV flashlights on Amazon, but we really want to send the message that you should support your disc golf retailer first and foremost. So, we're upgrading the packaging to make it more presentable for disc golf. So, this is kind of it's called tearaway packaging. It allows us to make the product more presentable in the retail store. There is actually a perforation here that retailers can tear this off, and you've got nice colorway, beautiful, presentable product. Another point on the UV flashlights, there's a very specific wavelength required for charging glow discs, specifically. In fact, like some of the other colorways of glow, like the Total Eclipse, there's 5 different glow colors, the white and purple glow, it requires a very specific wavelength, and so our UV flashlights are optimized for that particular wavelength. So that's another reason why we feel it's important to make these available at retailers so that you can get the right wavelength flashlight. So
that's very important, because oftentimes we get some feedback that their disc isn't glowing or it's not charging. It's generally the result of not using the correct light source to charge it. So very important.
Yep. So again, all of this different packaging, it's for all the different sizes. Retailers can set this up and it's nice, presentable. So trying to make disc golf more presentable. So again, all this packaging is to make it look more presentable. The retailer's just got to tear away here, and then the product is nice and accessible right out here, individually packaged. And you can see we kind of have our full range of accessory products, the different UV flashlights, the lunar module, the arm retriever, the multicolor LED lights, the Parsec rangefinder. All of these accessory items, we're just improving the packaging, make the product more presentable in disc golf retailers. And again, we implore everybody that's shopping for their disc golf needs, support your brick and mortar retailers first and foremost. So that's kind of why we're really upgrading the packaging, to really support the brick and mortar retailers of disc golf. Another thing about the Parsec, just kind of wanted to highlight that we have recently upgraded this due to high requests. Now the USB-C charging cable, that's been a really high request, so we have made that upgrade. So for all new production of it, it's now available in the USB-C charging cable. Another product that we're really proud of, the disc frame. We launched this a little over a year ago, and it's been great for hanging the collectible discs that you're very proud of. I've just recently installed them in my office, of the stamps that I was particularly proud of and the ones I really like the most. So I got a nice little collection in my office. So just kind of wanted to give this product a shout out, because it's a really cool product.
Yep. I just picked up a whole case of them, so it's a great product. Got them on the wall.
We also upgraded the black hole sound barrier. Previously the product was designed around the practice baskets, Black Hole Pro, Pro HD, the Precision. We have actually increased the tab on this little Velcro tab here. It's now compatible with both our practice baskets and our course baskets. So all Black Hole sound barriers available now will actually be the version 2, which actually is compatible with course baskets or as well as the practice baskets.
Yeah, thank you for your feedback. It's something we simply overlooked. So focused on our practice baskets, but at the end of the day, some people have a portal or a gravity or
Yep.
whatnot in their backyard.
Yeah, so obviously a clear point is we listen to your feedback about how can we improve our products, and we always try to improve the products in that way, and we're always trying to improve according to feedback. In fact, the Disc Station Lite is just, again, another example of us listening to feedback. We've had a lot of feedback on the disc stations. Some are looking for a more affordable option, and we saw the need for that, so we kind of made a more simplified version of the disc station. We felt it was important to make an affordable design solution that is sufficiently strong enough for disc golf disc. And I actually kind of want to explain the difference between this product, the Disc Station 2 and the Disc Station Lite. Obviously, you can see the Disc Station 2 is a little bit more complex compared to this one. This one is just a two-tier storage solution, kind of could also be a desktop solution, whereas the Disc Station 2 is got the modular design. We sell an add-on module, so this Disc Station 2 can be converted to a Disc Station 4, Disc Station 5, Disc Station 6 by adding on modules. You can start out small and build up your collection. And so obviously there's a little bit more complexity to design here. So if you want a low budget solution, you've got a Disc Station Lite. That's just a two-tier system if you feel that your collection is not going to exceed this size. Or if you want to start small and know you're going to build up eventually, the Disc Station 2 would be a great solution for you. So ultimately, we're listening to your feedback. We've seen the feedback of looking for more affordable disc storage solutions. That's where the Disc Station Lite ultimately come from. But if you want to, if ultimately you're going to become an avid player with an avid collection, the more modular Disc Station 2 might be a more suitable option for you. And with the success of the Disc Station product, we've also expanded upon the accessories offering. The dividers, we've actually added on a couple of divider products, which actually you can kind of see them inside the product here. Come around and show those. So one feedback that we were hearing was there's a lot of disk here because this thing has a high capacity for storage, but when you get this many disks, kind of organizing them can sometimes be a challenge because this can hold well over 200 disks, close to 240 disks. So organizing is kind of important, and so that's why we made this product here. It's kind of a little divider here that kind of locks in there, and it's got a little label tab. So if you wanted to organize your collection by type, then we also have this other solution here that's just a more basic version without the tab. So with and without the label tab, depending on how you want to organize it. If you ever have a partial rack of disks and you're worried about this top disk tipping over, again, another great use case for where you would want this to help organize and stabilize your disk. So it's kind of a dual purpose, organizing by category or just kind of filling out those partials. We saw a need that needed to be filled with this particular product. We've also had a lot of requests for just kind of a storage on these racks here. So here's just an example of a Voyager Slim. So we made a little side shelf here, shelf add-on product. Obviously you got a top shelf here, but we also added on side shelf to where you can kind of just add other accessory items, just kind of store additional accessory items. So that is the disk station shelf add-on. These are the disk station dividers with the tab or without the tab, just to kind of serve the different needs. So overall, just wanted to expand the accessories for the disk station, as it's been a very popular item. We have also started offering a caster add-on. So there's actually a set of casters that allow this disk station to be mobile. And a lot of this is the feedback of retailers. It's a great storage solution for retailers. It's really high density of storage with accessibility. So that's what's really key about the disk station. And that's very important for retailers. A lot of retailers use this as their storage solution in their warehouses. They can wheel that now with the mobility, they can wheel it in and out. And I can kind of demonstrate the casters here. They're lockable casters, so you can move it around to where you need to be. Maybe a retailer is working on a fulfillment of an online order, or they just want to restock their shelves from their back warehouse. They can wheel it from the warehouse to where they want to restock it. And the casters, again, a pair of these actually locking casters. So you can lock it into position as needed. The casters overall are just great for retailers. And also if you just have a collection in your garage, it makes it mobile in your garage or basement too. But ultimately a lot of that was feedback from retailers that use this as a storage solution in their warehouse. In addition to the traditional disk station, we have a white colorway. Ultimately just kind of open for feedback if this is a colorway that you would be interested in. The white was kind of more of an idea about catering to those who have a white modern theme in their homes. So if this is something that is of interest to us, interest to you, let us know. Give us a shout out in the comments if this is a colorway that you'd be interested in, or if you prefer the traditional black. Ultimately just seeking feedback. Is the white colorway something that you would be interested in? We're just exploring to try to meet all the different needs and wants of a disk station storage solution. With the addition of the disk station Lite, we also decided that a disk station Mini, that there was a need for that. I know that when we were getting into disc golf early on, we had a stack of minis that we didn't really have a storage solution for. So there's definitely, we felt, a small need for it in some people's collection of minis.
We make them for full-size discs, and we figured why not? And a good design note too that we chose, we went with rubberized feet on the bottom, and we sized it so it sits nicely on top of the disk station. Those rubber feet kind of nest nicely, it won't slide off. It's a great place to store them.
And actually you can get up to
two of them. Yeah, we designed it so it's half the size, so you can do just start off of one side, or you can double them up for double on top.
Still got lots of other products here. Maybe we can talk about the pod here. This was a great product that we just kind of wanted to kind of talk about. particularly the upgrade that we did going into the second run. We actually added what's called the pod extension kit. It actually is included on every pod. And ultimately, one of the feedbacks we had on the pod was for people of different heights. Some people are taller and wanted this holder to be taller to help them with their putting so they're not lunching over each grab. But it's also dual purpose. They can either be threaded into each other and then added underneath this pole cap here to extend the height of the pod by, this is up to 6 inches extension to increase the height. Or if you're okay with the height of the pod, these could also be dual purpose as increasing the capacity of the pod. So these will thread into here and add another 3 inches of capacity. So ultimately we were trying to cater to those who wanted increase in height versus increase in capacity. A pair is included in every pod, but also they are also sold separately if you wanted to continue to add more capacity or height differential adjustment for your pod. So
also, for those who aren't familiar with the pod this is a training device that if you want to train at the highest level and you want to build your putting repetition over and over and over, get your cycles in, get your repetition, get your muscle memory built. This is a convenient way to store your disc at an accessible height that you can quickly, without really thinking about it, you can grab your disc and putt over and over to kind of build your repetition and muscle memory. You know, when you're training at the highest level, if you're, you know, bending over on the ground or whatnot, being able to have that optimized is going to really improve the quality of your training and putting.
And of course, we like to offer full range of accessory products. So here is a transit bag specifically for the pod. As you know, we've got the Black Hole Transit, which is great for portability of the baskets, Black Hole Pro, Black Hole Practice, Black Hole Light. And this pod transit is just another option of portability for this. So the whole set fits into this bag that's particularly designed around the pod. So again, we try to cater to any and every need of disc golf, whether it's all your training needs or just the portability of your training needs. You know, we have a very extensive lineup of accessory products, and so we're just trying to cater to every need possible. I also just wanted to highlight the Voyager Force Field. It's a very underrated product in my opinion. For the Voyager series, this is our premium line of bags and feel that warrants a premium rainfly option. It's got quick open flaps because when you're in a rain round you want quick accessibility, so you can quickly open for access to your top storage. There's actually one to access the full top storage compartment as well as your main disc compartment as well. So we felt that the quick accessibility was very important for those rain rounds, and so just wanted to highlight this product because you'll see over there we actually have a version 2 Rover as well as a new run of Conrad Voyager. So just wanted to showcase the Rainfly because I felt it's an underrated product, as well as the updated Conrad Voyager. We'll talk about that later, but do you want to talk about the Black Hole Force Field?
Yeah, stemming from, you know, the great product, you know, Rainflies for your bag, you know, we sell a lot of disc golf baskets, and same thing, you know, protecting from the elements. You know, when you have your basket outside, and our practice baskets, they have a good warranty, you know, lifetime warranty. You email us, we're gonna send you replacements, no questions asked. But at the end of the day, you want to extend the life of your product. You know, baskets are a good investment. So our way to do that is just a simple sleeve liner. It has a UV protective layer underneath, so it's, you know, UV resistant as well as rain and protect it from the elements. At the end of the day, you know, the cost of a basket, you know, this upgrade is going to really extend those life by several years. So it's definitely a great option to consider if you really want to, you know, keep the life of your basket.
So yeah, that kind of covers the force field between the Voyager Force Field and the Black Hole Force Field. But we can also talk about the upgraded run of the Conrad Voyager. So I actually made a lot of improvements to the new run of the Conrad Voyager that's coming here. Biggest improvement being the straps here and the back padding. Back padding is now the full back. We did a blind study and we realized that the full back padding was determined to be the most comfortable solution. So we've added padding along the edge here so that it doesn't rub up against your neck. Overall, improve the handle here. So In addition to that, we have reduced the weight even further. The first run Conrad Voyagers were actually about 10% lighter. We've got another 10% weight reduction. So the bags are getting even lighter, but also overall more comfortable. The strap redesign wraps better around your shoulders. We've added a chest strap to it. It helps really. We were surprised at how much that takes the weight off your shoulders. Actually, the tension, it just distributes that tension throughout the strap structure. So again, when you kind of make those longer treks, either a longer hole or the big long trek to get back to hole 1 after hole 18, just wanted to add additional comfort to the bag.
Yep. In addition to Brad's comment on the lightweight reduction, you know, some people, when they hear lightweight, they kind of associate that with reduced quality. That is not the case here. This is from a selection of, you know, highly engineered materials specific for maintaining that durability that we're known for, but also reducing the weight. So it's not the cost cutting, you know, that some people might associate with. This is due to selective, highly engineered decisions on the materials and construction. So lightweight in this case is a good result.
Yeah, because you don't want to carry unnecessary weight along with you. The side panels in particular kind of have a special sandwich of hard shell as well as foam shell to kind of reduce that weight, but yet not sacrifice the overall structure. Again, the Voyager series is one of the most rigid bags on the market as far as structure there. So we felt that was very important. So it's still a very rigid structure. Cordura 1000D material as always with the Voyager series. It's super high durability, essentially military spec materials as far as the durability of it goes. And last but not least, the cart that this product is on just adds additional getting the weight off your shoulders when it comes to the bags. Maybe you prefer to just not carry the bag at all. And this is the new Rover second generation. A lot of improvements went into this Rover design.
Incredibly excited with the Rover 2.
Yes.
This is many years of, you know, ideas, sitting down with our suppliers, with the construction, the materials. It is a completely new design approach. You know, with the first series, it was mostly made from bent tubes with a lot of fasteners. It was a very high part count, so there's a lot of failure points with, you know, fasteners maybe coming loose, and just it's a very high part count and very complex design. You know, it was a great starting point. It was a great product, but at the end of the day, there's always room for improving your design, and this is a very redesigned product, and we're very proud of it. You know, a lot of effort, and it's fantastic.
The key with this one is simplicity.
Yeah.
It's such a simple design, but yet it does not compromise the function in any way. In fact, it just makes the function just that much more intuitive.
Yeah.
As far as the assembly goes. As Chad mentioned, a lot of those fasteners just complicated the installation process. There's a lot less of those components. It just fits together very quickly. As you can see, all there is just 2 fasteners and 2 quick push buttons. Essentially, you could disassemble this and stow it in the trunk of your car, the back seat of your car. So just improving that portability, because I know that can be a challenge with carts. The size is maybe hard to get into the trunk of your car. But when it comes to the Rover, you just loosen that and disassemble. This makes it about 1 foot tall that can fit into your car. Very compact.
Yeah, one of the main elements with just the high part count of the FERT version with, you know, all of the fasteners, our design decision was ultimately reduce that, eliminate that, and just go to welding. You know, straight welding, steel panels makes it so you do not have any chance of, you know, fasteners coming loose or misalignments or things not quite lining up right. At the end of the day, we wanted a solid construction, so reducing part count is just a very paramount design decision, and we're very happy with it.
In fact, I think that's a first. This is a first steel, primarily made out of steel cart. Steel is much more durable. Previous versions and most carts on the market are made of aluminum. We just felt that aluminum is not durable enough. Overall steel, this thing is built like a tank.
But on that note, when we first started with some of the early steel prototypes, we were a little unhappy with the increased weight. So through multiple generations of redesigns and optimizations and cutting some elements that just weren't there, they were just dead weight. So removing that dead weight, and we're now down to a weight that's much more satisfactory while being durable and outstanding. We're very, very happy with the result.
So the steel structure, built like a tank, but yet super light. When I put it back together, you'll notice I actually assembled it sideways. So actually you can quickly adjust it. Some people prefer a sideways handle, some prefer it facing straight. So ultimately, the quick assembly process, you can just quickly rotate it around as desired.
And another small detail, but it's more of a satisfying one, with this square tube, and we have the height adjustment, that interface between those two square tubes oftentimes have some play and there's a little rattle. We went with a very simple, very low failure design where we have a thumb screw with a knob on it that is on a 45 degree. So it's setting that screw and tube into the corner, so there's zero play. And it's very simple, but it's a small detail that really makes a nice hand feel. Because at the end of the day, if your handle's rattling, it's just one of those minor details that can kind of detract from that, quality feel. So we're very, very happy with that small detail.
Yeah, as Chad was saying, the handle is very solid. There's no wiggle on the handle. Also, the drink holder is now up at the top, because before the drink holders were kind of down here at the bottom. If you're in like rough terrain, lots of weeds are rubbing into those drink holders, we've moved that up here just to get that out of harm's way when it comes to being too close in the rough there. So we felt that was an important improvement. We also have added mud flaps. Those are a nice upgrade here. They are optional. So if you don't want them because you want the lighter weight, you don't have to buy them. But if the mud flaps are important, they are a nice little upgrade.
Also, the wheels were a significant upgrade as well too. So you want to elaborate on the wheel decision?
Yes. The wheels here are much more dense polyurethane foam. Overall, they're much more durable. They don't warp as easily. Overall,
they won't go flat either. Our first ones were similar, but they were just slightly poor choice in material. These ones are much more durable. They won't go flat. It's kind of the best of both worlds is what you're looking for a wheel.
The foam doesn't go flat like a rubber tire, so you don't have to worry about flat tires. The other ones were foam as well, but this is much more dense, so just overall significantly more durable. Another very common feedback was a lot of the wheel knobs were falling off. So we've actually put this cap here that encloses it so it cannot come out. So overall, just kind of learning from the first generation and improving it with all these little details here.
And a lot of thanks to all of our customers, giving us this feedback. When we launch new products, your feedback is paramount. We are always listening. So as a result of all of your feedback over these several years, everything has been implemented, and we're very happy with the result, and we can't thank you enough for your feedback as we continue to be the leader at all the products we make. Yeah, so here's just a fun little experiment. We've done this in the past, but we've gotten so many more new fans, maybe people who are familiar. This is just a very low budget, cheap scale, but it's just a nice little visual demonstration to compare the densities of our two materials.
So as you can see here, we have the main ingredient of our fission plastic, the main ingredient of our overmold material, the weighted one. You can see it's got a mineral filler, so it's very heavy. These are actually the same weight, but you can visually see how much more plastic is in this one. So the key demonstration here is the difference in density between the two different plastics, in particular fission versus the overmold, just to really showcase the difference. So again, just to showcase here the weight here of a full one versus the same weight here. This is about 1.7 kilograms here. So again, just visually demonstrating that this is the same weight, but look at how much more plastic here. Just all about the density of a fission central core versus the overmold material.
Yeah, and again, this is just a very low budget, just visual demonstration, nothing very scientific going on here, but the important factor is it's really showing you the two different specific gravities or the density of these materials. We really want to do a deep dive onto the physics of why this is important and how it applies to our gyroscopic designs. And this is something that we probably are going to reserve for our Smarter Everyday next series video. So definitely look forward to that. Just a fun little demonstration for now.
And well, that concludes the virtual segment of GYROpalooza. We also have the Q&A segment coming up shortly where we will answer your questions. And wow, we were overwhelmed by the number of questions. Literally hundreds, actually almost over 1,000 questions have been submitted. A ton of questions. We're going to answer as many as we can in the Q&A segment shortly following this virtual segment of GYROpalooza. And last but not least, we are finally bringing back the in-person experience of GYROpalooza with the GYROpalooza sweepstakes. So we very much look forward to that in the future. Look forward to seeing you guys here.
Yeah, very exciting. We thank you so much for taking the time to answer or give us all these questions to look through and answer for you. And again, this is such a special time of the year, you know, yearly recap to pull together all our products and all of our team accomplishments and all the progress we make here with the organization. Just a great time of the year to recap, and it's always a lot of fun, so really enjoy it. So thank you so much.
And one last shout out to the team here at MVP. Our staff is just under 100 strong. We have an incredible team. So again, just want to give credit to the incredible team at MVP that allows all of this to be possible. You guys are the real MVP. So again, thank you to all the employees at MVP Disports that really made this possible, and thank you for all your support to, again, make this all possible.
Yes, thank you.